Hello again, here to Marion Dampier-Jeans International Broadcast. Today Marion has invited a special guest, an old friend of her. They have history all back to 2001. Rikke Probst, sorry, I pronounce your name wrong, so I will try to say it correctly. Talked about it before we were pushing recording. So your name is Rikke Probst. Great. And you met Marion in the Danish television serie called The Power of the Spirit back in 2001. Hello, Bo. How are you?
Hello. Fine. Thank you. How are you?
And Marion, how are you? I will now give you the time with Rikke. You have about 45 minutes, so there you go.
Thank you. Lovely to be here with my old friend, as you call it. Hi, Rikke. It's lovely to be with you. It's lovely to see you. It's nice to talk about some of the things that we have done together. It is always wonderful when you have something that sparkled off what I call friendship with us. And that was really something that was nice. Honestly, that was just really, really good. What I would like to talk about, Rikke, is just that we actually did not just meet, let us say, by riding together or through friends or anything else like this. It started in Denmark, where I was invited. Though I live in England and have lived here for many years, I had a phone call from a Danish television station asking me if I would like to be part of a Danish television program in which that they were putting up in Denmark, all about spirit and so forth. And I sort of went, yes, because there was somebody who's written in and told them about me as a medium and so forth. So I said yes to it. Now, we had to go, as you know, Rikke, to a place by the seaside in a beautiful little summer house. It was great there. I have never met you before. I didn't know of who you were. I had no recollection about anything about you. And it was also the first time, or one of the first time, I started to meet the television crew. So everything was completely new. Nothing was set or whatever. So when I got there, they had no idea about my ability as a medium, only what they had been told. And to make things easier, what I did ask for the television crew, and that was, I want to do something known as psychometry. And they went, what's that? So I had to explain it to the crew that it was something that I will ask Rikke to take something with her that I have to, and it's known as psychometrize. I have to read the frequency and vibration to whatever object that I was given. So that is the thing, how it started. And I think that the television crew got hold of you and told you. And what Marion always does, it doesn't matter if I'm on the platform or it is sometimes in London where I work privately, I always get information days before I work. So of course, I just got to sort of show you, these are some of the things I will sit down and write down, not knowing what it is I'm writing. I just know I get imagery, I get words, I get letters, I get all sorts of things that comes in. So I'm armed with that. And I remember when you came, they have to meet you somewhere because there was nowhere you know where this place was. So I think that you have to meet one of the people from the cast somewhere, so from the crew somewhere. And I was sitting down as you came in. So at this point, it's the first time that we two ever meet each other. And we were sitting opposite each other. We wasn't sitting next to each other, but we were sitting opposite each other. And I remember that you gave me a ring, I think it was, and also I think it was a t-shirts I had to sort of touch. And I also remember when touching all this, certain imagery starts to come to me. And really all I wanted you to just wait, do you understand what I'm saying? And that kind of thing. So that is really how we two first met and how we started in this journey on these television programs, which is very interesting because you will then explain, Rikke, that what they are called in English, and also that it is a Danish concept, which has now been bought from the rest of the world. So they also showed, of course, not in the Danish way, but their way, but it is a very Danish concept. So again, trying to tell people that Denmark has done an awful lot, I have to say, in bringing films, documentaries or whatever to the rest of the world. And that was where I started. So Rikke, I want to welcome you here with me, and we can start sort of talking about how you got hold of this, because how did you hear about this television program and what made you want to come and sit with a medium?
I'm very glad to be here and to have this talk today, because there's a lot of things, well, the people around me know what happened that day, but a lot of it didn't actually go on the show or in, it wasn't broadcasted on TV. But I had seen the first series of Åndernes Magt, that's what it's called in Danish. And when they searched for persons who wanted to get in touch with somebody who lost maybe a mother, father, or someone they would like to have contact with, I saw it on the text, what's it called, on television?
On television, yeah.
And I thought, well, my brother, he passed away all of a sudden. We didn't get to say goodbye. So I just wrote to Juhl and said, I didn't get to say goodbye to my brother. And I didn't actually write very much, only that he was 34 and my name, and well, not not very many informations. And then they contacted me. And
the television contacted you then?
Yes, TV2 Juhl contacted me. It was yes, who was the producer, and Anette, can't remember her last name. She was the hostess. And they contacted me, and I couldn't tell them anything, and I didn't want to, because I was like, is this really happening? Is it possible to get, you know, greetings from the other side in that way? And then I had to go and meet them in Hundested, in the small harbor, and I couldn't get any information whether I was going to meet a man or a woman. And when we came to this little house, I had to follow them in my car. And we came to this house, and there you were. I didn't expect you at all. But it was, how can I put it? It was awkward because I didn't know you. I didn't know you at all. And it was, I had these expectations, but I didn't know if I could get any information out of this. But the thing that people actually didn't see, it was recorded, but it wasn't shown on television, was that two persons actually came through in the beginning. And they kind of argued for fun who was going to give me a message or a simple just saying, we are here and we love you. And the first person was a friend of mine I lost in, I think, 99 or 2000. Can't remember. He died very young from leukemia. And the other one, you said, he passed away like this. Boom, didn't get to say goodbye. And they were kind of arguing, and they were talking about having drinks. And they said to you, aren't you going to have a gin and tonic? And it was really funny, but they decided together that it was the person who didn't get to say goodbye that could connect to you and give me messages from you. And that was my brother. And all the things you said, I hadn't told anyone. He died on my mother's birthday. And no one knew, only the family, the TV crew, they didn't know. And I was like, and you were talking about, how he passed away. And you were talking about that he was very flamboyant, kind of kind of type. And I remember you were like this. I can't say this. I can't. Oh, I can't say what he's. And you were like trying to show me how he was. And then you said transvestite. Do you remember that?
I remember that very well. Yeah.
He had this drag show, really big drag show in Denmark back then, with dancers, and so, yeah, they were quite famous in Denmark. So it was spot on what you said, and the thing about my mother's birthday as well. And you also, I remember you also asked me, do you like to go and sit in front, just look at the sea, just look there and find your peace? And that was the weeks after he died. We tried to get him home from Saudi Arabia, where he worked. He was a cabin attendant, and the thing is, he got ill with Legionnaire's disease, and then he had very difficult. When they were supposed to go into the country, they went as a crew, and it was very difficult just to get one person in if you weren't working. But he was very ill with coughing and very, very ill. So the captain said to him, you have to stay. So he had to stay in Jeddah. So he couldn't get out with the crew. They were flying to Africa. And he actually, for 2 days, he tried to get into Saudi Arabia again to get to the hospital because he was very, very ill. And when he got to the hospital, it was an American private hospital. They took a lot of tests on him, and they found out that he was HIV positive. So they cut off. It's illegal to be. He was gay. It's illegal to be gay in Saudi Arabia, and it's illegal to have HIV. So they cut off all his medicine. The only thing he got was oxygen. And we were like trying as hell with the company where he worked, and SOS International. Everybody was all over this to get an ambulance flight to bring him back home. And it was very, very difficult. And on my mother's birthday, it actually did, we had this success that an ambulance flight actually landed, but he didn't get on board because he died. And that was on my mother's birthday. And it was even more difficult to get him back out of the country. It took 14 days, and we had to postpone the funeral in Denmark because we couldn't get him home. There's a lot of papers that needs to have a signature, and it's very difficult in Saudi Arabia to get in and out. And what you said also on the program, Devaj, you did like this, it's an A. And I was like, I can't say yes to that. I said, I know what you mean, but I was afraid. My mom and dad were still alive at the time. They're not here anymore. But I was like, oh, that's very private. I wasn't sure if they were ready to come out with all of this on live television. So I just said yes. I know what it means. And well, it wasn't AIDS, but it was HIV. It was for him to show me that, you know, that was that. And he told me, I think 1 or 2 days before he died, I had him on the phone, and he said, I have HIV. That's not why I'm ill, but they won't treat me anymore. And when I get home, I will go straight to the hospital in Juhl, but they have a special clinic for HIV. But don't tell mom and dad. So that was, oof. But they knew, but I couldn't say on television with you, oh yeah, that's AIDS, that's HIV positive. That I couldn't say on television that he was that, but you were strict on it. Was, you got every information you could, and I hadn't told anybody, not anyone.
I think that what I have to, again, I keep on explaining to people because people thought I had met you. She thought I knew all about it. And this is where I'm trying to say, and I don't know Rikke. I have never met her before. And everybody was convinced there was some kind of, let's say, friendship with us. We have planned it. And television said they didn't know anything about it. So it is this thing at doing something from the start with psychometry, in which I introduced Denmark to back in 2000. That's when I started introducing, we could do something known as psychometry. And I remember very well that specific episode with your brother, because I remember being very, what can I sort of say, very nervous when I started, because it was really the first time ever that I, as a medium, has sat in front of somebody and doing what we call a live description of somebody who's passed onto the other side of life. It's something I have never really liked to do, because I think it's sometimes too personally, which you also saw what happened. As I said, I write everything down. Yeah. And one thing I can say about your brother, and that has never gone away, it is his flamboyant way of continuously keep on using his arms and talking, and all night he used to go and think, wow, okay. I said, what on earth is this man doing? And I remember getting very confused about certain things that he was saying. About both spaghetti, I've been out to eat spaghetti, or I said, what's that got to do with anything, you know? And I remember he was coming in with strange things. I was actually sitting and having an ordinary glass of water. And the next thing I hear, he said, is it a gin and tonic? I went, what do you mean? It's water. We argued. I said, no. It's ordinary water. Well, I'd rather like to have a gin and tonic. I said, well, you haven't had one. And we were sitting and having this argument about if it was water or gin and tonic. So what I can say about your brother, it was just really absolutely extraordinary, the way that he, and I have to say the word, dare stand up with his character. Because this is where Marion is very good. I don't sit here and say, hello, I have got your brother here. He would like to come through to you. That ain't me. I will go with both feet. And I will have the character through, the way he walks, the way he talks, the way he does, all this kind of thing. I'm known for that. I am known to take the character on however they were. It's typical me. I get in trouble in England with it all the time in the churches, because if I suddenly go around, I can suddenly be as drunk as anything on the platform, because of the person I'm talking to are so drunk and I can hardly stand straight. And many times that has happened. I had people who come through and you swear, and I go, you can't say that, you can't say that, you can't say that, you can't say that. I'm going trying to sort of limit myself. But it was the first time I would say that I did it. And thank you to the people who actually put the programs together, because they did Anette, which is the Strength of Spirit. And then there was another one called The Spirit's Return. And then there was another one that he also did, was a Feeling for Murder. And all those three concepts here has actually been sold around the world. It is Danish. It's a Danish concept, and I did them first with the television. Who was the people who actually made them, Rikke? Can you remember?
I think it was Jes Brødder. It started with Anders Breinholm. And I think all the time the producer was Jes Brødder.
Yeah, and they were fantastic people to work with, because that though they may not have understood everything about what can I say, spirit, but there was again a backup team, I have to say, you know, that was there, that was helping, that was doing, you know, and I found that was very good. That was extremely well. But after that time, when your brother has passed over, we did the series. I can turn around and say now it was sent around the whole of Scandinavia.
Yeah.
It was the most seen program. I remember he was saying to me in Greenland that every time I was on television in Greenland, there was nobody in the street. And then somebody fun said to me, yes, and the Crown Prince of Denmark came up to our hotel, and that was fine. But when you came there, the telephones wouldn't bloody stop ringing, and people was queuing outside talking to you. And he said that didn't happen with the royal family of Denmark, and I just started to laugh. I thought that was really funny. But after that, Rikke, we have also done other things together. We have been places together after that. It's like, if I took you under the wings, you were starting to see other forms of split communication.
Yes.
Have you got some stories from there?
Yeah. Well, I've always been certain that there was something, but until my brother passed away, I haven't really tried to do anything about it. And I just pushed it away, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. But I remember you've always taught me to use my intuition. You know, what comes in first is always the correct thing. That's always the thing you should follow in your life, or whatever comes to you. But I remember that you were contacted in I think it was 2003 or 4, and we had kept contact, and you sent me to, it was Snor Snor